The morning sun spilled over the limestone cliffs of Matka Canyon, turning the Tresca River into a ribbon of liquid emerald. Jana stood at the edge of the stone path, the air cool and damp with the scent of moss and ancient stone. Beside her, Silas checked his camera, his eyes wide as they swept upward toward the towering peaks. Today wasn't just a trip. It was a celebration of 18 years of life and the wide-open horizon ahead of them. They pushed their yellow kayak into the glassy water, the ripples spreading out like secrets whispered to the canyon. Jana took the front, her paddles slicing through the reflection of the sky with rhythmic precision. Silas followed her lead, his movements tentative at first until they found a shared tempo. The canyon walls leaned in, hushed and protective, as they glided deeper into the heart of the gorge. Silas looked up, mesmerized by the sheer scale of the landscape. He felt small, not in a way that diminished him, but in a way that made him feel part of something eternal. Every stroke of the paddle took them further from the noise of the world and closer to the quiet pulse of the earth. He reached out to touch the cold, wet stone of a low-hanging overhang as they passed. They reached the wooden pier that led to Vrilo Cave, a hidden labyrinth beneath the mountains. As they stepped into the darkness, the air turned sharp and biting. Jana led the way down the damp stairs, her flashlight cutting through the gloom to reveal stalactites that hung like frozen tears from the ceiling. They reached the edge of the internal lake, its water so still it looked like a mirror into another dimension. Jana paused by the underground lake, the silence of the cave pressing against her ears. She thought about how much of the world remained hidden, just like this water that reached depths no one had fully mapped. At 18, she felt like the cave, full of chambers yet to be explored, with mysteries sitting just beneath the surface of her own skin. Leaving the canyon behind, they traveled toward the rugged slopes of Mount Vodno. The transition from the deep, watery shadows of Matka to the sun-drenched forests of the mountain felt like a new chapter. They walked toward the base of the cable car station, the scent of pine needles heavy in the afternoon heat. The city of Skopje hummed in the distance, a sprawling tapestry of red roofs and silver glass. The cable car lifted them off the ground with a gentle jolt, swinging them high above the canopy. Jana and Silas pressed their foreheads against the glass as the world below shrank. The trees became a sea of green velvet, and the wind whistled through the small vents of the cabin. They were suspended between the earth they knew and the sky they dreamed of, drifting upward in a bubble of silence. At the summit, the Millennium Cross stood as a monolithic sentinel of steel. Silas stood at its base, craning his neck to see the top where the metal met the blue. It was a giant skeleton of faith and history, casting a long, geometric shadow over the peak. The wind here was fierce and cold, stripping away the heat of the valley and replacing it with a sense of clarity. As the sun began to dip, they walked to the edge of the lookout point. Below them, Skopje ignited. Thousands of lights flickered on like fallen stars, tracing the veins of the streets and the curve of the Vardar River. Jana and Silas leaned against the cold metal railing, watching the city breathe. They were high enough to see the whole world, yet close enough to feel the heartbeat of the life waiting for them below. Jana looked at Silas and smiled, the wind whipping her hair across her face. They had climbed from the depths of the earth to the height of the mountain in a single day. The journey ahead, into adulthood, into the unknown, didn't seem so daunting anymore. As long as there were peaks to climb and rivers to paddle, she knew they would find their way.